Hey everybody, it's Brandon, and thank you for taking the time out this week to view my reflection video, my discussion video for Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. I can say that this text has really caused a great deal of reflection on the idea of voice, on the idea of the desire to control one's body, the idea of religious oppression. All of those ideas have come into play and uh, throughout um, the time that I read this text. Also, the idea of transformation and the idea of being a transformative character, or in this narrative, a transformative and a transformative person, specifically Jacobs. And so I wanted to talk briefly about um, the idea of Jacobs being a transformative, out of the box, kind of non-conformative slave for her time, slave period, and black woman for her time. There are many instances in the text that we see where Dr. Flint um, takes advantage of Linda and uses his position, his wealth, his authority to control Linda in her inferior position as a slave. But what stands out to me is in chapter 4, where she, in her mind, she starts to reject this idea of being this sexual object for Dr. Flint. She says, I have it up here too. When he told me that I was made for his use, made to obey his command in everything, that I was nothing but a slave whose will must and should surrender to his. Never before had my puny arm felt half so strong. And so his uh, Dr. Flint's attempt here to objectify Linda, to literally turn her into an object just for sex. I mean, he said that she says that he said that she must obey his command in everything, and that she was nothing but a slave, and that she was made for his use. So therefore, in that textual statement, Linda has, in Dr. Flint's mind, Linda has no control over her body. And so that becomes a problem for her. And so she then begins to formulate plans of how she's going to subvert the control that Dr. Flint has over her. And it doesn't come to fruition right away. I mean, we all know that. But she begins, the wheels start to turn. And that's why I believe that Jacobs is a transformative character, because she she starts to plan, she starts to use that her position to subvert these things. I mean, she threatens Dr. Flint with telling her grandmother, who would tell the other people in the community. She always says that we live in a small community, and she uses that to her advantage. And she often says that if she lived on a far out plantation, that things could happen, even things, worse things could happen. And so she uses that. And so I believe that she can be viewed as a mastermind for her day and age, because she's really using all of the things that are within her reach to subvert his control. And so that's why in my post earlier in the week, I said that I see her as a transformative character. And on the idea that religious oppression, and we see later on in the book where the slaves go to church, and how the preacher is preaching that slavery is right, and all this other Husha John, as my grandmother would say. And so the idea that um, that um, the community that was in power used religion to continue to drive their slave industry, slave production. And so this book this week has really been eye opening. It's really been a tool that has really caused much reflection. And so I hope that you all have enjoyed and have taken away many things from this novel as I have. See you next week. Bye bye.